Hello, I'm John.
And I'm Jeremy from Monster Truck, and you're watching the Guitar Mania channel.
John, Jeremy, welcome to Vienna.
Yeah.
Fantastic show today at the Rock in Vienna Festival.
Thank you.
How did you guys like the show?
It was good. We got in yesterday, so we were still on North American Eastern Standard Time. So that was like going on at we went at 4. That's like going on at 10 in the morning at home. So it's a little weird, but we were getting better at the time change, and yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Now, it was a great show, and you've got a new album with you, Sittin Heavy.
Yep.
Yeah. Can we talk a bit about the new album?
No. Yeah.
Tell us all about it. How long
yeah.
did it take you guys to write it? Your debut was released in 2013.
If you say so.
Yeah,
was it? Yeah. Was it?
2015.
Okay. Sorry. I don't know.
3 years.
Yeah.
It was 3 years between them. It took us 8 months to make Sittin Heavy. Should have been 3 weeks. But it took 8 months, and probably we wrote it over the course of a year and a bit. But we were on tour a lot, so we didn't really have much time. Curiosity tour, the cycle for that album was really long. So basically, we had to spend about 8 months pulling all of our ideas together and making it work out. But yeah, it got done, and.
Well, we got to the end of what was supposed to be the recording process, and then we kind of had a meeting and decided that it wasn't good enough, so that we had to do another session, and we had to use a bunch of extra time, and then it ended up pushing us into a 2016 release window as opposed to putting it out last year. So, yeah, it was just we wanted to make sure the follow-up record was as good as Furiosity, because we had a lot of success with Furiosity. We didn't want to let anyone down, so. It was just kind of living up to that standard that we set previously, and and it's kind of taught us that we need to be a little bit quicker and work a little faster, work harder. We were being a little lazy. We were in our hometown. We were working out of our own jam space, and we were just being a bit lazy. So we're just gonna put our nose to the grindstone and make sure we actually can turn another record over quicker next time.
Who did most of the songwriting for the new album?
Both of us, mostly, yeah.
So how does that work? Do you guys sit together and you grab your bass, John, and you your guitar, and are you trading riffs or?
Yeah, we're trading riffs. I mean, he works a lot on an acoustic guitar. I work a lot on acoustic guitar. Sometimes we'll have a riff, and I'll have a riff, and they'll go together. Sometimes he'll write an entire song, and we'll just kind of work out the arrangement together. And sometimes I'll write a couple pieces. Most of the time, if it's a full song written, it's him. And I'll come up with ideas and then take them to him, and he'll help me figure out the other parts. And then we'll take them with the rest of the guys and work on the whole arrangement. And next, we get the producer involved, and we go through all the pieces together.
That's good. He's got it.
That's an interesting approach. So you guys test basically first whether the song is working acoustically before you really plug in, or? Yeah,
it's pretty easy to tell if you got something good. I mean, there'll be a lot of times he'll be just jamming away on the acoustic, or I'll be jamming away on the acoustic on the tour bus, or backstage or whatever, and we'll all of a sudden, because we both have 100 riffs at any given moment, but it'll be him playing something and me being like, whoa, what's that? Or I'll be playing something and he'll say, oh, what are you doing? Whoa, what's that? And so it's usually just waiting to see if the other person kind of is reacting to it, because it's always easier to work on stuff that the other person's excited about, because he always fills in the holes for the songs that I have. So it makes it easier for me if he's excited about it, because then I don't have to do as much work.
who is doing the quality control? Do you guys have someone who is saying this is a great song or this is not so good? Or?
We pretty much do that as a group when we're arranging it all. A lot of times we'll know if it's a good song based on whether or not it's coming together quickly. Some of the best songs that we've ever written have come together in a day or two. And, some of them have taken months, but a lot of the songs that have been successful as singles have been quick. And then, of course, we always have a producer involved. In the last few records, it's been Eric Ratz, and he's always kind of the last line of defense as far as deciding, whether or not a song needs more work, or whether we should, rewrite it or scrap it altogether.
You've got some fierce riffing going on, and here in the. on the first record and also on the new one. Like, who are your main influences? Would you say?
Mine would be like Mark Farner from Grand Funk Railroad, and like probably Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. And
are you like we use a lot of like Sabbath and stoner stuff too? I mean, someone described us as stoner pop once, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good because we're not really, Bongzilla or Sleep, but we're a little bit more accessible than that. But it's still like stoner rock, basically.
And is this basically also the music that you guys grew up with, or?
Yeah, I guess like Zeppelin and like normal rock and roll kids, Floyd and Zeppelin and Free and Spirit and stuff like that, but also like Rage and Nirvana and Soundgarden, and so it's basically we're just taking all of that.
Well, we were lucky. I mean, we got to grow up on classic rock, and we got to go through the grunge era, and and we got we grew up on lots of punk rock, so we've got to take it all in. I think the important thing that we always try to consider is that we're not excluding anything from the influences. We're not trying to work specifically on a certain sound. I like to draw influence from anything that I grew up listening to, which is really anything heavy and hard and rock and roll, punk rock related is an influence for me, because it'd be silly to exclude something just because you want to sound like a 70s band or an 80s band or 90s band.
Was it like a conscious decision that you said, look, because there's sort of a retro wave going on with Graveyard, Rival Sons, all these great bands, and you guys, of course, you have your own approach to that. Is that something where you really say, look, this is really something we wanted to do, or did the sound just come natural for you guys?
A little of both. It came natural. I was surprised how naturally it came in the beginning, and now we kind of made the template very early on, and then we've kind of just stuck to it because it was working so well. It was something we talked about based on the bands that we liked, but again, we didn't talk about it too much. We didn't design it too much. We really kind of thought about making a lot of bass and guitar unison, really, so it would really drive it home. And because of that, it just works so well. Then having Brando on the organ kind of gives it this big bed to lay on. Like, it's this big sonic instrument that kind of covers the entire EQ spectrum from low end to high end. And so he's got this big like wave of sound, and then we're punching you in the face with the riff, and it just makes this giant palette for us to play with.
Equipment.
Yep.
Jeremy, I saw you play the Gibson SG.
Yep.
What model is that?
I just like the 61 reissues. The ones I have were kind of like this special model that Canada got for the music stores in our country, and no one bought them because they were yellow.
They're so ugly.
And they were so ugly. I thought they were cool looking. I had a Wayne's World moment where like I would go to the music store and I see it on the wall. I'd be like, oh, I want that guitar, but I don't have any money. So I was like, I would go in and play it a little bit and then put it back, and I knew no one was gonna buy it. And I liked that it was different. It wasn't a sunburst, or it wasn't cherry or black or white. It was like mustard yellow. So I just kept going in every like 6 months. I'd be like, oh, it's still there. I want that guitar. As soon as I get the money, I'm going to buy it. And I tell the guys in the store, I says, anyone starts looking at that guitar, you call me. And so then one day I got a royalty. We started making some money off of our singles in Canada. So I got a royalty check, and I went right to the store and I says, I'm taking it home. And I took it off the wall. I actually made some phone calls and got the price dropped down way lower. And then it was supposed to be a backup. And then the first show I ever played it at, I was in a horrible mood. And I was just like, I'm gonna play the yellow guitar tonight. First time I ever played it. Took it on stage, and I played like an amazing show. Put me in a great mood, and I was like, from then on, it just was my main guitar. I just loved it. And then I bought another one. I found another one.
Yeah, that was my next question. How many copies do you have?
I have two.
Two.
I have two.
Also on tour with you?
Yeah, I always have them, because the one that I played today is cracking in the middle. Yeah. It's about to snap in half because I've been too rough with it.
Well, no small wonder seeing you live on stage.
Yeah. So. But it'll be fine. Eventually it'll snap, and then I'll get it glued. It'll be fine. But I have a backup just in case. I might break it at download. I might fold it in half at download and then grab another guitar.
John, what about you?
I play F basses. They're like very, I don't know how to say it. It's a small company from our hometown, and they're called George Furlanetto's the ones that makes them, and he's been making basses since the 70s. It's kind of like they make more basses for like jazz fusion artists, like 5 and 6 strings. they made a P bass, and they're like, "Do you want to try it?" And I said, "Yeah." So I got it, and it's the best thing I've ever touched. And so that's what I play now. And Trainer amps.
Yeah. Trainer Amps is a big one. Trainer Amps is a company out of Canada, and they've always been really supportive of the band. And they're the only company that actually like will give us whatever we need. Like with all the other companies, we have to pay artist price or whatever, which is great. Like we appreciate that. But like when a company is actually like, hey, anything you need, like here you go, and they just take it. Yeah. And so and it's just they've been our main company for support. Like
You play Marshall heads.
I play Marshall head. I just got that Marshall head I played today. That was the first time it's ever been used. It came out of the box this morning, and I bought it for this tour. And so it smells all funny, and it's too new. I need to kick it and punch it. But
Jeremy, in terms of pedals,
yeah,
what do you use?
fuck them. No, I got some pedals. I use a wah. I use a Jerry Cantrell wah that Jerry Cantrell gave me, which is why I use it. Otherwise, I wouldn't use it at all. And no, I got a MXR Phase 90 today, and I was using an exotic EP booster for overdrive. But if I had, yeah, I didn't bring it. I'm an idiot. I could do without any of them. If I had to, I could just plug into the amp and go. That's what our sound guy always says. He's like, whatever. He doesn't care. But yeah, it's fun. I like having not a lot of things. When you have the less you have, the less chances of problems happening. So yeah, I just love the sound of a humbucker into a Marshall. Or I have another sponsorship at home with Morris Amplification. It's a boutique company. So just SG into a rock and roll head, and we're off to the races.
Also, I actually just got a Ready DI. That's like, what is it, A Designs. Makes a Ready DI, and to every bass player, just get one. It's like $1,000 Canadian.
We saw Temperance Movement have them, and we were like, holy
tool. It's the best bass tool in history.
Done.
John, Jeremy, like Monster Truck looks like to be on a great trajectory for your career. When you started out issuing your first EPs, and looking back, is it like you wanted? Has it turned out? Are you happy with the way Monster Truck is going at the moment?
Yeah. I mean, when we started the band, it was supposed to be just for a bar in our hometown, just for fun. But within the first couple of practices, at least I knew something was up, because it was the best thing I'd ever been a part of in a band. And I've been playing in bands for maybe 15 years or 12 years, something like that. At that point, I've been playing in bands for a long time, and I'd never had so much fun. And I always knew it translates. If you're having fun, then the crowd has fun. I felt like it was something special, but I felt, sometimes you feel like something special, and then the crowd doesn't react. I don't know. I didn't know for sure. I was really excited about it. I think we all knew we had something, but we all actually had to come to that decision on whether or not we were going to go full tilt with it, because it meant, taking time off work and then eventually having to quit your job and time.
Great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But
what did you guys work before?
I worked in a warehouse and drove a forklift. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I've done every job. I think I've done every job. I've worked in an office. I've done computers. I've done like physical labor. My favorite job was making sandwiches. So I've sold weed. I've done.
You sold me weed?
Yeah, I used to sell him weed. I've done it all, and I could never stay with the same thing longer than a year or two. Otherwise, I go fucking crazy.
How many days in a year are you guys on tour?
This year we'll probably only do like 150. Yeah, about 150 this year probably.
Yeah, you just did a tour with Volbeat in the States, didn't
Yeah.
you? How did that go?
It was great.
Did they treat you well?
Did they? Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what's great about all the bigger bands? Because we've toured with a lot of them, and whether it's Alice in Chains or Slash or Alter Bridge, Nickelback. I'm just name dropping here.
Yeah, keep going.
But no, the best thing, because before you do all that stuff, you think that they're gonna be dicks. Like someone's got to be a dick, because someone's got to be a rock star asshole. And we go on tour with all these guys, and they're just the nicest, friendliest, most like hey, come on, like, what? How you doing? What's going on? What do you talk about gear, hang out. Alice in Chains took those two golfing.
They're playing like PGA courses.
Yeah, playing PGA courses, and Slash was just super open and easy to approach, and it was like it kind of like renewed my faith in like humanity a little bit, because you expect some of them to be assholes because you hear horror stories of other guys, and maybe we've just been really lucky, but we've been really impressed with all the bands we've opened for, and it was really kind of inspiring, and like, they led by example. Like, this is how you act, and this is how you treat people, and it gave us like a great way to kind of be brought up through the ranks and kind of end up where we are now.
And you guys, you will be coming back with Nickelback to European stages in autumn, I guess.
Right at the beginning of September.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Brief question about the music scene in Canada.
Yeah.
How does it look like from your point of view? Is it a fertile ground? Is it better?
I would definitely say that Canada, per capita, we do pretty good. Yeah. Like, we have a lot of big artists that come out of Canada for per capita. And it doesn't seem like we've always been at good music scenes. We've always been very culture-centered in Canada. We're very much into healthcare and music and art, and like that's just how we've been brought up. And really, the government provides a lot of funds for bands to come up. So there's never ever a shortage, because you can, they will kick in money, so you don't have to starve while you're trying to develop your talent, and people really take advantage of it in a good way.
We do.
In a good way. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, they're giving me money, I'm working. And then great things come out of it. So I as far as I'm concerned, Canada's always been fertile for art, and it will continue that way.
With that being said, the two main centers for the most amount of bands playing, and this is also for touring bands coming in to Canada to play shows, are 5,000 kilometers apart. So having Toronto and Vancouver that far apart, and they're not being...
But Toronto, Montreal...
Well, yeah, Toronto, Montreal are right close, but that's what happens with the other bands coming in, is they only see Toronto and Vancouver. Maybe they'll dip up into like Calgary or Edmonton now and then, but for the most part, a lot of what happens on the opposite ends of the country. So in some ways, it's a little bit tough sometimes for other bands that aren't from Canada to get the full perspective of the country, because they literally only see those two places. So us being, hometown boys, we've seen every nook and cranny of it, and it's allowed us to be here today. It's the reason that we're in Austria today, is because we were able to prove ourselves all across the country.
John, Jeremy, final word of wisdom for bands that would like to make a career and a living out of being professional musicians.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to go?
Be honest with yourself, because nothing good comes out of dishonesty.
Yeah, and that's my main thing, just kind of draws off that, which is, if you don't love your own songs, then nobody else is going to. And that's like, learned that the hard way. I was in lots of bands there. I was just it was just misdirected. It was like trying to be this or trying to be that, or trying to be part of the new cool thing. And then once I got into this band and stopped giving a shit about all that, and just was like, I just want to play what I want to play. I want to have fun. That was when everything started making sense. And next thing you know, we're in Vienna, Austria. So, yeah, love your own music.
Thanks so much. Will you guys be sticking around for Iggy Pop tonight?
Yeah, we'll be here.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.